to another episode of Between Sisters. I am Kylie, your host, and I am here with my co-hosts, my Saint-Tropez and Monte Carlo homies. First in, it was Quiche. Next in, we got Shona Dawn. And last but certainly not least, we got Cho Lubby. Eve is here in proxy.
We love you.
Shout out to Eve. What we got, ladies?
Well, we need to start off talking about this mass shooting that happened on Saturday, May 14th. Like Kaya, you always say, if you've been under a rock and did not know that there was a mass shooting in Buffalo, a male named Payton Gendron, 18 years old, traveled from Conklin, New York, over 200 miles to Buffalo, New York. And basically, he went into Tops supermarket on a Saturday and shot 13 people, 10 died, and 3 were injured, unfortunately. So I just want to send my condolences to all the family members in the town of Buffalo that are grieving over these deaths and these injuries. Unfortunately, Payton is pleading not guilty to first degree charges. I don't know how he's pleading not guilty, but sidebar, his cousin said that he went mentally insane because of COVID. And that's what was the catalyst for him doing what he did. I just wanted to mention something because, you know, this situation really bothered me in a sense where, you know, another massacre where Black people were targeted, and anyone that saw the video, he actually had the opportunity to kill a white man, and he didn't do that. He actually said, "I'm sorry," and went on to kill more Black people. But then I looked at it from 2 different lenses. I looked at it from a Black woman's lens, and I looked at it from a human being's lens. So in 2018, there were 323 massacres. 2019, 434 massacres. In 2020, 614 massacres. In 2021, 693 massacres. And up to date in 2022, 198 massacres. This is scary. And not all of them were racially motivated, but a bulk of them, over 50%, were racially motivated. So the question is, where do we go from here? Like, how do we control these massacres? Is it possible to even control any of these massacres? Like, are we able to hinder further massacres from happening? Like, is there a resolution to all of this? I personally don't think stopping people from buying guns is the answer. I really don't. The question is, what is the real answer? Because like in 2016, remember the gentleman that went into the nightclub and the gay nightclub?
Mm-hmm. Was it Pulse?
Yeah. That was a Pulse.
He killed a lot of people. This young man, 18 years old, he was actually at Tops the day before. And he was scouting the area. He even spoke to a Black man on a bench for over an hour. And the Black man was on the news saying he didn't even see any signs of this young man being racist. But obviously this young man has some kind of psychological issues. So the question is, where do we go from here?
First things first, I just want to remove psychological issues out of the equation because that's always the excuse. It's always he's mentally ill. It's a psychological issue. Oh, he had signs, or we noticed that there was a change in his demeanor. Why can't we just say that he was an evil person that targeted a community of people because he just had hate in his heart? He did the work of scouting, all of the research that was done. You know, this wasn't an act of, I woke up this morning, had a bad day, and I went out and shot a bunch of people. This was something that was planned.
Yeah.
And executed.
He did recon.
And executed. His parents were the ones who purchased the firearm for him as a gift. And we know that in some areas that's just that's normal.
Yes.
So I'm not even going to say, well, the parents should not have purchased a firearm for him, because it's normal in certain areas and people don't like to hear that. But we do know that something did happen after 2016. We know that the tide started changing in this country. We went backwards instead of going forward. We have gone back, I would actually say, a whole damn century, it appears, where hate has been the primary message that has been out there. We have seen hate just served on a platter at this point. It's okay to call somebody whatever you want to, and it's okay. It's okay to target minorities, and it's permissible. You know, you had a president that referred to shithole countries. You understand what I'm saying? So if the message is constantly pushed out there that it's okay to say that you hate a group of people and there is no repercussion, what do you think will happen? We've seen people that we know, some may even be in the family, that we know that their mind has altered into thinking that there were people who were doing certain things. The Illuminati does exist. You know, the whole QAnon thing does exist.
Yeah.
These things are happening to people. And this young man could be one of those people who now has fallen under that guise of, you know what? Black people are the problem in this world. Let's start to eliminate them. They've taken everything from us. They're a bunch of degenerates anyway. They're all on welfare. You know, they don't do anything. They shoot each other anyway. So let's just you know, cleanse the earth of the NIGGER.
But he also had on the barrel of his AR-15 shotgun and says, "Here's your reparations." And he also had the manifesto from the white supremacy replacement theory stuff that Tucker Carlson spews on a regular basis on Fox News, but that white supremacist manifesto that is like an oath. But if the U.S. government and the powers that be have said that white supremacy is now the leading cause of terrorism and hate within this country, but as Sean King said so eloquently in his speech in Buffalo, let me see your budget on what you have done or what you are putting aside to combat it. Because you can say it all day. White supremacy is a problem in this country. It's a problem. But if you don't have the budget to fight it, then all it is words.
So allow me a chance to go back, and then I'll bring it home. So back in the day with done with Jim Crow, when they were sticking dogs on us and they were shooting us with hoses, they didn't stop because they all of a sudden thought that all men are now created equal. They stopped because the world was looking at us crazy. So all of those people, and this is just my take on it, I believe after that, all of those people went and they suppressed it. So for all these years, we've had some microaggressions, we've had the biases, and then we elected a Black president.
Racism is over.
And it's just like, whoa, wait a minute now. We were okay with y'all just here. But now he is at the top. Oh, no, no, no. And I think that was sort of the start of all of those people in hiding were like, it's time to come out and reclaim our country. And then Trump came and, well,
but this is the funny thing with what you're saying, because yes, a Black man was placed into office, and who was one of the biggest mouths
saying
about,
he wasn't born here? Trump.
And he's the one who became president.
Yep.
That now we see the result of that. But it's going back to that murderer. It makes me think of, and it's always that thing of art imitating life. It makes me think of Higher Learning. And Michael Rappaport's character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Remember, he was a regular kid once he started that semester.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And he just didn't know where to fit in.
Mm-hmm.
And the only group that allowed
that
him,
embraced him,
was the group that poisoned his mind.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Because he didn't want to generally be with them. He tried to find his fitting with everyone. You know, he was that socially awkward person that he was cool, but not cool enough for here, or he was smart, but not smart enough for there. And what group embraced him?
Mhm.
So I don't want anyone to say that COVID, messed him up psychologically. So many of us have been destroyed psychologically from COVID.
Yes.
Let's be honest.
But we didn't go out
I ain't
and
shoot up my job. I ain't
mean,
go to patients' homes and start killing people.
But I will reiterate, there are so many people that started watching so many different news outlets, and just started going on the internet, and they start reading on one thing, which would lead them down a rabbit
hole
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah.
Dumb algorithms.
It's just like the young woman that died at the Capitol. She was a regular person who
and voted for Obama.
She had her own views. However, she was in Alcoholics Anonymous. She made friends in Alcoholics Anonymous during the pandemic, stuck in the house, not being able to go to meetings, got on that computer. Things started happening, started going down that rabbit hole, then started spewing that, people were doing things to children. And like the pizzeria that they went into, saying that that's where, they were holding children and doing all kinds of crazy things to them. Those things are on the internet. And we know when people were secluded, it's easy. You start reading and you find yourself from one search to another search. And then, everything just starts popping up for you.
Which
that's what happened.
I get it. I totally understand that. But at some point, when does common sense
Let me ask you guys.
take over?
So one of the issues that a lot of people have been talking about is the fact that when these mass shooters, especially the white ones, let me rewind it. A lot of issues that people have is that when the white mass shooters are approached by the cops, it's calm.
Without incident. And you have an assault rifle or a handgun.
The arresting officers had all rights to shoot him, and they did not. And we know if his hue was a different hue, he would have been shot.
But they've shot in people who
were not
armed. So it's just like, do they really need training?
No, they do. They do need training. They do. They need training to understand that there's no effing difference in the color. If someone's crime, it's a crime. That's the training that they need, because if it was a black kid who had a gun in his hand, or even a black kid who did not have a gun in his hand, as we've known and we've seen,
He don't even need a gun. He could just have a wallet. He can have
but when you have the police officers taking people to Burger King and escorting them out of the supermarket that they just committed an act of terrorism, because that is an act of terrorism. And this, I'm tired of people not admitting to what the hell it is in this country. We're always ready to talk about people from other countries are terrorists. The majority of the acts of terrorism committed in these Americas have been done by white men.
Right.
Exactly.
And then the DOJ said that the biggest threat to America,
to this country is white supremacy.
And this is why.
But then where is the budget to combat the white supremacy? Where are the measurements put in place? Where are the laws that are being passed to say, okay, if you do this, this is no longer a hate crime. This is an act of terror, and you want to.
Well, you do know what one of the biggest issues with funding to target and to handle white supremacy in this country. You know what one of the biggest issues is. The people who sit in Congress
are white supremacists. Not all of them.
Because Shauna mentioned Barack Obama. When he was elected, my son wasn't even born yet, right? But when my son was born, he was still president. Now, the Tea Party started shortly after his presidency began, because it was no longer just the Republicans. It was just like a sect of the Republicans that are more right than the righter, and they started, to put
more white than the whiter.
more white people, all of them. They was really going hard body, and I'm not sure why Ted Cruz is on this campaign, because Negro, you ain't white.
Your last name is Cruz, bruh.
Listen,
you're not white.
Ted Cruz is an issue within himself.
He's an enigma. Enigma. But when Obama was in office, they started that. And then obviously Trump, he was saying those right words, because remember, before Obama and before Trump started down this rabbit hole of hate, Trump was on all of the hip hop,
because elite. He wanted to be liked. He likes that. He likes to be like in the
because I remember when he first came out saying that he was gonna run against Obama, I knew a lot of black people that were gonna vote for him. Yeah. Not against Obama. I'm sorry, not against Obama. When he first came out, when he was running initially, his first
Hillary,
against Hillary. I'm sorry. I knew a lot of black people that were like, I'm voting for Trump. I'm not voting for Hillary. Until the very end, when he started coming out with some crazy stuff, then that's when people were like, I don't know if you're the same person I thought you was. But a lot of people had Trump's back in the beginning. A lot of our people, because like you said, he was that dude.
Yeah, he was that dude. But just remember, in this country, and it's a bigger picture. This young man, this young terrorist, he is unfortunately, he's a casualty of a larger war. Because remember, United States versus Billie Holiday, they didn't even want her to sing about people being lynched. You didn't even want her to sing a song about the truth of this country. Ida B. Wells, you didn't want her to write about the truth of this country. You know what I'm saying? You didn't, and now you have governments within this country that are banning the actual truth of being taught. So if you're not even taught the truth, and all you hear are these booger nose picking Tucker Carlsons and all of these Laura Ingrams and all of these other people that are spewing the same rhetoric, you are going to get radicalized.
Yep.
And then you're going to commit the crime in a state where the bulk of the people in that penitentiary
is from New
don't
York
look
City.
like you.
Really? They don't look like you.
And the people in the penitentiary sent word and was like, cuckoo, listen, we are prepared to do whatever it takes to let this.
Just remember, yeah, you're saying that the penitentiaries are filled with people that don't look like him, but just remember that in those areas, the jobs go to the people that look like him.
Yep.
Of course.
You know, so
but
building those penitentiaries.
There's way more inmates than COs, unfortunately. So, and they say the inmates run the prisons anyway, you know, but this man is now being protected. He's in protective custody
for the
and on suicide watch.
Well, remember he had threatened to commit suicide after he stopped shooting in the supermarket. So that is the alleged reason why he has been on suicide watch, because he was going to attempt to take his life so that he wouldn't have been arrested.
Dylan Roof
will be protected.
All they need is one CO to go on break early, and one to be just down in the hallway mopping.
Well, let's just put it this way. If he had information on certain people within power, he would have committed suicide in his cell. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Girl.
But you know what, the sick part about the killing is the fact that he had a private group that was invited on a chat so that they can watch privately in their homes him killing these folks. So
where are those people? Do we know? Are they getting arrested?
They're doing an investigation.
Yeah, they're investigating. But
because it's now May, almost the end of May. And how many people have gotten arrested from January 6th? You understand what I'm saying? How long does it take for justice to come? Or is justice ever going to come?
The same way they use the hip hop songs to arrest Black people, I feel the same way they should use the words that Tucker Carlson and them say.
Because
use
that
the words the same way
over and over and over
use
and
them
over.
the same way.
Because one of my favorite shows on Prime Video, The Boys, new season coming out next month. They actually showed, it was art imitating life. They actually showed how certain members of society got radicalized by listening to the news all day. They wake up in the morning to the news, and they're not literally looking at it, but it's still in their subconscious. And you see somebody that you think is other, and then one day it's just like pat pat. Because you're radicalized and you're hearing this over. But when you have truth, when you actually have truth, and you are learning what actually happened, and you still want to be hateful, then you know what, there's just something different for you. But states that don't want truth to be told and don't want truth to be taught to children because they don't want them to feel bad, but instead they feel empowered to kill.
Message.
Well, so we should have conversations with people like Condoleezza Rice, who believes that we shouldn't teach children their history because it'll make them feel bad about themselves.
Condoleezza supported George Bush, who just recently came out and admitted a Freudian slip. He talking about Ukraine. It was just like, and wars in Iraq. Whoops.
So they're saying by 2044, white people will be the minority.
Mm-hmm.
But if they're in power, what difference?
Marjorie Taylor Greene, all of them just
do we think that at some point in our, like, while we're all still here, do we think at some point, like, all the crazy folks gonna go somewhere and sit down?
Nope.
No, the crazy is a worse pandemic than COVID ever. White supremacy is the worst pandemic that this globe has seen, and it's been a multi-century long pandemic, and there's no sign of it slowing down. It's still infecting people every single day.
Like I said, 2018 it was 323 mass shootings. 2021 was 693 mass shootings. A huge difference.
Double.
Because there's no real consequence.
More than doubled.
There's no real consequence. You know
that's why we have to.
You're gonna be greeted with with graciousness.
Well, that's just like the last kid who mom drove him.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, and the truth will come out when you have the likes of people like Rick Schroeder and all of these people supporting him. Like there was support for a child or another murderer who parent drove him to commit the damn crimes. And where did that go? What happened?
They sang his praises like Jesus.
Yeah.
Because he was going to protect the stores. I love Nike. I am not going to drive to the mall.
But wait,
to protect it.
Wait, let me rewind it. So let your mama have driven you to protect Nike store. Both you and your mama going to jail.
Exactly. Like, I'm not.
Both of y'all.
I need to go and mind somebody else's business.
They're like, nigga, really?
And that's exactly what that is. You minding somebody else's
business. I don't need to do that.
But you know what it is? In their neighborhoods, they mind each other's business. That's common.
But that wasn't his neighbor.
That wasn't his neighbor. That's what I'm saying. I'm not
going. Well, you know, they think they own the whole country.
I'm not going to.
They think they own the whole country, and they feel like we're taking over their country. How 13% of the population taking over the country?
I'm glad you said that, because now we can actually go into the next conversation, which is about baby formula. And my baby is 8. However, I did have a little issue the other day with baby formula because I got a new baby. I'm auntie cousin. That is who I am. But so there is a formula shortage. There is a formula famine. And one of the main reasons that there's a formula famine is because Abbott Labs, who is probably the country's biggest supplier of formula, knew that there was a contamination issue within their laboratories and never addressed the issue because they wanted to basically line their stakeholders' pockets and definitely not close to make sure that things were cleaned properly, instruments were cleaned properly, things were sanitized properly. Yeah. So that the products that you're feeding the youngest and the most needing of these particular products, you didn't want to do your due diligence and pay whatever money that you needed to pay to make sure that these products went out properly. Now, Abbott, they are a part of Mead Johnson. Everybody knows what Mead Johnson is: nutrition, Nestle, and Perrigo. And they control 90% of the infant formula market in the US. 90%. So the FDA had to come swooping down, and you got to close, bruh. This ain't gonna work. You got to get your house in order. And they spent billions buying back its own stock for their stakeholders. Billions. And I'm sure that Abbott was one of those that got funding from this pandemic.
Of course.
Money.
Of course.
Right? So I actually read a story in reference to the formula situation, but it said that because of what was going on with the pandemic and the COVID relief that has gone out to so many people, it has created more billionaires within the last 2 years than we've had in 23 years. So the rich are getting mega rich, and the poor are literally dying for food. And because of the fact that some mothers try to go to cow's milk, you know, in replacement because of the formula, unfortunately, some babies, they could not tolerate it and they lost their life. So like I said, I got a new baby. Auntie cousin baby. But I was going all over. I was on my business Amazon to try to get formula. I had ordered some from Bye Bye Baby up in upstate New York, and my husband was gonna go pick it up, and I was going to mail it to their house because I was just like, child need formula. Yes, her mother's nursing, but the child eat like it's going out of style. So I get a text message telling me that the formula that I ordered the second week in May expired at the end of April. And it was cases of the formula that they had that was expired. When I tell you, so I called Amazon.
Where was all this like just sitting?
And they could have donated it.
I know. And why they didn't put it out there?
But they sure charged me almost $100 for it. So my question is to you, because the U.S. government just got a shipment into Indiana from, I think, Germany or somebody. Was it Switzerland?
I believe it was Switzerland, and landed in Indianapolis, and that delivery is already gone.
Yeah, that won't touch shelves. That won't even go to shelves. That will go to places where, like, hospitals and babies are going to get. It's not even for like Lisa and them on 50th Street. You know what I mean? So I'm sorry, Sean, you was about to say something?
No. I was going to say, so as of this taping, as of this week that we're taping, Abbott has started to make more now. They have the okay them to start. The issue is it's going to take weeks
to be delivered.
Yeah. He said it's going to take at least 2 months.
So
don't forget he apologized. The CEO of Abbott apologized. He said, "I'm sorry."
Oh.
Right? Oh.
You know, it's very unfortunate because a lot of mothers are getting so much flack. You know, they can't find formula to feed their babies, and you know, you have people saying, "Well, you know, breastfeed." Not
everybody can do that.
Not every woman can breastfeed, and there are some women who can actually make their baby sick from breastfeeding. So breastfeeding isn't always the answer for everyone. So to actually say that to a woman that, oh, you know, what did you do before? What do people do before formula? Like breastfeed your baby? You're actually just
Who was saying
Crushing-
that? Besides
A
somebody.
lot of people.
You're crushing a mother who's
lot
already
of people.
struggling, trying to figure out how to feed her baby.
Mhm.
Then people are like, well, give your baby carnation milk. Well, carnation milk can work for some babies,
But not all babies.
not all babies. It's the same situation. So you fall back into the same thing. I don't think people realize how big of a crisis this is right now. And then it was like, well, order from Amazon, just change your settings and order it from here. And I'm like, yeah, that's still not working. So we're like, well, it worked for me. Okay, well, show me that you did receive this milk if you're saying that it did work for you. It's just so crazy that we are here.
2022.
That we're here. This is where we're at.
Shortage on baby formula, a drought in some places. It's like, what in the world is going on right now?
Well, we could get into that conversation.
No, I know. I wasn't trying to, but I'm just saying, it's like, what is going on?
Well, it's been written. We're here. But, I just think that we need to have more empathy and more compassion to the parents who are trying to, feed their babies, because there are people who have tried everything which has landed their children in the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have some of these dodo birds that are literally price gouging on top of everything else.
Yeah.
So not only is it hard for you to find formula, but then you have some of these businesses that are raising the prices of your formula to astronomical amounts, knowing that it's for babies.
Mm-hmm.
Because greed will always take over.
At the end of the day, it was about the dollar.
Supply and demand.
And there's no reason why in 2022 that there's only one company that we're relying on. It shouldn't be a monopoly like that. I think,
but that's that Facebook era, where the Facebook owns everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So they have the monopoly, and you have 10% being produced from some other company, but 90% of the formula.
That's too much. That's too much
power. This is capitalist
company to have.
US.
Yes, capitalism at its best. Mm-hmm.
It's sad. And, I was one of those mothers that weren't able to breastfeed my son. So I'm glad I didn't hear people say that, because my son would not latch on literally to save his life. He would not latch on for anything. And then my milk dried up. So I couldn't just be like, oh, let me rub it. Like a genie in a bottle. Let me rub it, and then it'll come out. That did not happen, and that's not what women do. So if people just think that, they're idiots. Well, what were you doing before formula? I don't know, because I didn't have that issue.
But it's so funny, because just in thinking of people, using those comments about breastfeed, but then you've actually seen people also ridicule women for breastfeeding in public.
Yep.
So it's like,
yep. It's a catch. It's just like, I can't win. I can't win.
And honestly, if you have a baby and you're breastfeeding and the baby is getting bigger, you'll literally be nursing all day, because that baby, it needs sustenance.
Right.
I'm going left field with this, but do you think, like, say Abbott didn't start making this formula again, even though it's going to take 2 months, do you think the industry of wet nurses could have came back?
Well, that's what has been happening. They've been asking people to donate their milk.
Their breast milk.
They've been asking people to donate their breast milk. So that has been happening, so that they can, funnel it out to people to feed their children.
Wow.
Yes, that is happening.
So let me ask you too, would you take that milk for your baby?
You know what?
And I think it depends. Like, if I'm in that situation, and it's just like, it's either this or
die.
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, white people
gonna
been
take
surviving
it.
off of black people milk
Well.
for centuries. I'm just saying.
That's when you gotta get the guy go.
I know.
Hello.
Facts.
Facts. Big facts.
But unfortunately, a lot of people won't know that because they removed that from my history books.
Oh well.
Oh wait, it was never in the history books.
All right, yeah,
Never
no,
was in the
That's why we're here.
No.
That's why we're here.
It was in the books. It just wasn't worded in that way. It was just, like the house mammy, would take care of the babies and feed the babies. It was worded not that, in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
Not that they was taking milk from their own babies.
Mm-hmm. Like how you hate somebody
Because
so
the
much?
only way I can feed your baby,
And got your
I would've
child
had
sucking
to
on her
have
nipple.
a baby.
I would have had to have a baby. Yep.
Mm-hmm. And move your nigga baby on to the side. You gotta feed my baby.
Right?
Yep.
Right? That's exactly what it was.
Yep.
But anyway, President Biden has deemed this part of our history Operation Fly Formula. And they are trying to fly in formula from different countries so that children in America can be able to eat.
Biden ain't looking too good these days.
Listen, gas is $4. Gas is $4.78 a gallon for the regular.
$85 to fill up my tank.
But the thing is,
100.
it's not all his fault. Like he took on.
It's the same thing that happened before you took on someone else's mess.
Yeah.
And now you have to spend so much time trying to clean up something that predated you and still work at what's currently happening all at the same time. And it's a nightmare.
Well,
It was the same thing with Obama. He had the housing crisis.
You inherited a mess.
And the auto industry, it was the same thing.
Well, speaking of Biden, because of the fact that gas is $87 a gallon, if you got to get super, and I got to get super.
86.
My bad. So, Biden literally gave $54 billion to Ukraine after the U.S. approved a $13.6 billion request from Biden to send to Ukraine. Now, I believe that this was bipartisan for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't like what's going on in Ukraine, and it's been going on for months now. And Zelensky and all of them, they look like they grown weary. But
they ain't got no money in the budget to them to combat white supremacy. But okay. I'm just saying.
Say that again for the people in the back.
I'm just saying, they ain't got no money in the budget to combat white supremacy. But,
not a penny. It's not enough money.
Not enough money? Okay.
No.
Okay.
What Cedric did to say that said? Yo, dog, tell him I ain't got it. I could put five on it.
Let me ask you a question, because I'm not too in tune of what's going on when it comes down to this whole thing with giving Ukraine money. But what other countries have given Ukraine money? Do y'all know?
That was actually the problem with NATO and them not holding up their fair share and putting the monies in that they were supposed to be putting in. And that was something that Trump actually spoke about in that, what was it, the G7, when he was bogarting his way to the front of the line, like, move niggers, I'm here. But other NATO countries were not given their fair share as far as the monies that they were supposed to be giving to combat, global issues. They weren't doing that. So now that we're in the place that we are, they're just like, yo, maybe we should have stepped up our game. Maybe we should give us so and so and so, because we got to combat, because Russia and China are, listen, these are major opponents.
Did you know that the Ukraine-Russia region is responsible for 30% of the exports of wheat?
I heard Africa is being affected by that.
And 65% of sunflower. So it's just like this war is starting to affect food as well.
Everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Everywhere. And that's basically this topic is the real cost. Because to be honest with you guys, yesterday we had a family meeting, and the family meeting was basically about, and I didn't want to do a show, but it was about doomsday prepping, because it's inevitable that there is going to be a recession now, because you are literally just giving money away and nobody's putting it back. How is the money being put back? CNN had, but yet they're going to hunt me down for a couple of dollars for my taxes.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even get a say on where the money goes. What about if I didn't want to give no more money to Ukraine? What about if I wanted to give money towards combating white supremacy?
Yeah.
How come I don't have that option?
These topics that we're discussing can make somebody very depressed. Each one that we discussed, especially as a Black person, when you're looking at the whole big picture, and it's like being in a household with your parents, and say it's 5 of y'all, and you're that one kid that you're watching everybody else get. Christmas time comes, everybody get theirs, and you have to earn yours. You have to do your chores. You got to do everything. You're doing everything around the house to get your share, because they've told you that you have to earn your keep. So you do everything you're supposed to do to get what you get in that house. Meanwhile, everyone else don't have to do their chores. If they want to, they'll, okay, but you're still going to have all the gifts that everyone else is getting. I say that to say, from the time I was a little girl, where I could understand English and understand the news and understand Black Power and Black Panther and all that kind of stuff. As a small child, I used to hear about this whole thing called reparations. And we learned that the government can't afford to give Black people reparations. It's not in our budget. We've always heard that from the 70s and the 80s. I'm pretty sure in the 60s they were talking about that. And so sitting here and watching Ukraine get all this money, now granted, like you said, I don't agree what's happening with them. I feel really bad that this happened to them. But the president of Ukraine knew that this was going to happen eventually. He sat there, and Biden was warning him over and over again, Russia's going to attack you. You think so? You really think they're going to attack me? Anywho, so now because he was naive, we're paying for what's going on over there. Secondly, you have people who've been trying to come through the borders of Mexico, who are from Ecuador, different countries.
Mm-hmm.
When the Ukrainian war started, they gladly let them come through Mexico and just walk right in. A lady met her grandson at the border and was so grateful that her Ukrainian grandson can come over. There was a lady standing there saying she'd been standing there waiting for months to get over the border, because she said in her country, I think she's from Ecuador, she said that her family was being threatened.
Don't forget when the Haitians.
Oh yeah.
Last year when they was on horses and they was literally whipping them?
Yeah. So it's these subjects, including the formula, these subjects are so sad in that, it's funny that we talked about the 18-year-old in the beginning, but I'm surprised all of these issues that we've talked about since George Floyd, that an 18-year-old black boy hasn't lost his damn mind and went and shot up a damn Walmart or something. Not that I'm trying to get that to happen.
We losing it, because remember the guy in the train station?
Oh yeah, he did lose it. He did lose it.
But yeah, we losing it. We lost it. I mean, but we losing it
this is sidebar
at a slower rate.
This is sidebar. The fact that he called him up and was like, "I think you're looking for me." I think you're looking for me.
That's mental illness. Yes. That's mental illness right there.
Yes,
that's mental
that was charging his phone. Yes, he charged his phone in the kiosk, and he had to go to another kiosk, and he was standing there waiting for them to get him.
But just like you said, with the formula, there were politicians that didn't vote to pass the bill to supply formula to these babies. So you're gonna force me to have the baby, then don't want me to be able to feed it. There's so many levels to this evil wickedness.
Yeah.
So you are pro-life, but only at conception?
That's it.
Because there's a long line of years that they're gonna need help.
Doesn't matter. But CNN had reported that the mega rich are getting richer. A new billionaire was minted nearly every day during the pandemic, according to a new report. At the same time, data shows growing levels of inequality and rising food prices could push as many as 263 million into extreme poverty this year. So you got a billionaire that was minted nearly every day during the pandemic, but then you have almost 263 million people that could be forced into poverty because of food, because of gas, because
the things that we need,
bare necessities.
It's not that we're asking for bags.
No, for the bare necessities
and sneakers. It's
I want to
make Jordans.
I want to make a comment. My daughter works at a restaurant, and when she's coming home with the amount of tips that people are giving her, and at first I thought it was us, but it's everybody. When you have everybody giving $3 tips, $3
really?
tip, $3.
I felt bad giving $5 to the lady that did my feet today because I didn't have no more cash on me.
You talking about people who have a bill of
You didn't have Zelle or Cash App?
I don't Zelle or Cash App the people at the nail salon.
Why not?
If
you didn't have the cash in your pocket, you Zelle or you ask them if they have Zelle or Cash App so you can give them their 15% tip.
Well, honey.
Well, how much is 15% or $30?
Oh my gosh, girl, bye. How much do you normally tip your people?
For my feet, I give them $10. Okay. That's way more than 15%.
Yeah.
I said okay.
But
saying.
So we concluded this inflation is causing people to tip, like, because obviously they paying by credit card. But even with credit card, they could give a good tip.
But they're giving they give, because the smallest meal at that restaurant is at least $25.
And it's not just us, it's everybody. So then I was like, wait.
I never thought that, and it's a known fact that we are good tippers. That has never been. True. We are good tippers. So to say that it's people, not like you thought, it try was to say us, that we're not. You were wrong, because we are good tippers.
We are.
Well, I think I mentioned another show. Someone asked only waiters and waitresses to call that are not Black to call the radio station and give their opinion when they see Black people come in the restaurant. And all of them was like, they know when Black people come in a restaurant, they are not getting tips like they get tips from other cultures. All of them said that.
Everybody I know of my hue or some type of person of color tip huge.
We tip.
And I will say this,
everybody.
I will say this because when she first started, the gas wasn't the way it was. So it was us that were the, excuse my French, the shitty tippers. It was us. Now that this gas
was the service not good?
No. But no, because I was like, wait, what did you make a mistake? But it's amongst all of them, and then you got other employees who are her color that say, yeah, when they come in here, they don't tip good. Our people don't tip good. In that particular restaurant, our people don't tip good. But now that there's inflation and all of them are not tipping good.
I got to go. I got to
it's
go
bad
to
over there.
Restaurant.
It's bad over
my
there.
Niece.
It's bad.
I'm like, maybe I need to just take a drive and get some.
I gotta go.
But then on the flip side, a black man went in there the other day and gave her $100 bill as a tip. God bless his heart.
See?
God bless his heart. But the point I'm making is the inflation is so bad right now that everybody is tipping shitty. Everybody.
Not me.
Well, I still tip appropriately. Sorry.
Me too. Me too.
I can't. But yeah, so, unfortunately, there were some people that were happy and that some people that was dancing a jig, but self-proclaimed relationship expert Kevin Samuels has recently passed away. And some women was going in on him. And ironically, there was a GoFundMe page that had sprouted up saying that he needed money to help pay for his funeral. Now, it came out that that GoFundMe page was a fraud and it wasn't done by his family. But the GoFundMe portion of death with us is a little too normalized.
Often.
I just think the whole GoFundMe thing has gone out of control for so many different uses is an issue within itself. It is an issue when it comes to people actually doing a GoFundMe for burial expenses. I think that we have come into an age where we can now purchase life insurance. You know, it's not a thing where we're not able to do it as it once was. We can now purchase life insurance. So the days of our friends and our families coming to the house to visit us with an envelope or with a card with money in it, you know, to help us bury our dead, I think we've passed that phase. But as we see, we may not have really passed that phase because we've seen so many times when people have passed on that a GoFundMe account has been made. It's not also to pass judgment on people because we always can't, you know, measure what someone's pocket is. However, there are things that we can do to create the smallest life insurance policy you can possibly think of. It doesn't have to be a $100,000 policy. GoFundMe, you know, isn't always the route to go. You know, we see people and you would assume that they have, you know, all of this money to handle burial expenses, and they don't. Another thing that I do see this whole GoFundMe being taken advantage of is I think people create a GoFundMe account for everything.
Now.
For everything, a crowdfunding for everything. It's just like, dude.
And it's just like, so what exactly is the purpose of a GoFundMe?
Well, it was started for people in dire needs to help with bills, for people who had the astronomical the medical bills, and so it was started for things like that. But I think we sort of have taken it as, I don't need to save, I'll just I'll
just start a GoFundMe.
Yeah.
But we also know.
When my cousin had a fire, there was a GoFundMe page.
But see, that's something different. That is different.
Right. Right. I understand it because I know that I have donated to GoFundMe accounts for medical expenses to help people with certain things that we know that insurance just won't cover.
Right.
Me too. Me too.
Do you guys recall? I'm sorry. Do you recall when Kylie Jenner did a GoFundMe page for her friend who had a bad car accident?
Yes, I remember
people
that.
lost their mind. Like, really? You're a billionaire asking the little public on a GoFundMe.
Get your life together.
But we've also seen GoFundMe used for scams as well.
Yes.
Oh yeah. And that's why, the whole Kevin Samuel thing, people capitalize off of death too. They just didn't they do one for Tracy Braxton?
Yeah.
When she passed away, like you just automatically start and GoFundMes and then people jump on the bandwagon and be like, oh, but people were just like, he going to degrade and disrespect black women every chance he get. Then you want me to help bury him or
send him? I mean, he was a very well-dressed man, and he, was a relationship guru. I would think that he would have had a life insurance policy. Why would I donate? I mean, that's neither here nor there. But I mean, like, even in thinking of all the different other scams that we know and we've seen, people use GoFundMe accounts for, like the couple in New Jersey who met up with the homeless guy.
Yes.
Right?
Oh, you knew about that, Keish?
Yeah, I heard about that one.
Who met up with the homeless guy, and they actually met this man because they would drive back and forth to Philadelphia to gamble, and that's how they met him. They came up with this story that, he actually gave this woman, he helped her out with $20 because she didn't have any money on her to fill her gas tank. So she was on the side of the road, and he was like the savior who gave her, this money to help her get home. And all of a sudden they wanted to do something for this homeless guy that was down and out, this homeless vet that was down and out. They raised over $400,000.
Damn.
Wow.
On GoFundMe.
Oh, Lord.
For this man, didn't give the man the money. They started doing traveling and buying expensive cars. And then the man decides that he's going to file a suit against them for not
to
giving
get his
him
money
of the $400,000, which only opened the door to the fact that the three of them concocted this lie to scam people.
But that was a dope lie, though. I ain't gonna front
and they scammed me out of my scammed earnings.
But it makes you hesitant to support someone who actually needs the assistance from a GoFundMe account. Yes. Because there were people who truly do need it.
Right, definitely.
But yeah, that was unfortunate. But again, if I saw that, I'm like, I'm not giving money. I wonder if this is real.
Right. So to do the cheapest the funeral now, the cheapest is between $7,000 and $9,000. $1,000. So for those who don't want to do life insurance, I do understand that some people think life insurance is a waste. Then
just
what you do is take that same, just take that same the $30 a month and save it.
Well, before you continue, Shauna, because you said some people don't want to do life insurance, our people perish for the lack of knowledge. There are cash value life insurance policies, and this is not in any way, shape, or form an investment seminar that'll come later. But there are cash value life insurance policies that you can use and basically be your own bank. You know, it doesn't just have to be a term life. It could be a whole life, a universal life, or a variable universal life. So there's different type of policies that you can actually get that will accrue money, and you can actually borrow from it. You don't have to borrow from banks if you have, you know what I'm saying? If you have to get a car, if you have to put money down on a house. So there are different policies that you can
But I always
get.
tell people to be very careful from borrowing from your policies also.
Well, that's why I said the different policies that you can get. Like, I have a term life, and I wanted to switch it over to a whole life, and the amount that they was trying to charge me, I was just like, we just gonna keep that. We're gonna go ahead and keep the party going, you know, because the term life has accrued, you know, a good amount. So I'm just like, okay, maybe we can, but it wasn't worth it. But when you don't have the knowledge, and a lot of times it's a small deductible that you have to pay to make sure that when you do pass on, or when you do need money to do big things in your life, you're not literally scrapping and survive. You know what I'm saying?
I'll say this one thing, and Gerber Life does not pay me, but I always say this because as a new mom,
I got Gerber Life for my kids.
You always receive that new mom.
Oh yeah, that packet, with Gerber Life in it.
And you start, and people are like, oh, I never paid attention to that. Well, do you know that after your baby has been on this earth for 1 month, you can actually sign up for that Gerber Life policy?
And it's cheap.
You can pay $1 for. You know, and I tell people, I'm like, you don't think about it, but you know, you buy this pot, you pay for this, you pay the little premium of $5 a month, or you pay the annual fee of $100 for the year. And I'm just exaggerating it because it could be $50 for the year. And you continue to do that. And you just continue to do that for the life of your child. I mean, because once your child gets to the age of 18, 19, that policy now belongs to them. Either transfer it to them for them to pay the premium, or you continue to pay the premium. Something that simple, and people don't, and we all, and so many of us have had children. that packet goes to everyone. You know,
a lot of people don't have houses and their children.
I received mail about creating, purchasing a life insurance policy for your grandchildren.
Really?
Like, how do you know I had a grandchild?
Different things in the mail, and a lot of times people just let mail sit without reading and asking questions and just doing a little deep dive investigation. You know, we find money to go to Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts, but we can't find money to pay a life insurance premium. Add up the Dunkin' Donuts you spend in a month's time, that's a premium.
Let me ask you a question. Why do you think that this is an epidemic that we don't do that? Like,
I was just gonna say,
because it's like the spooky. It's like the spooky.
What is it about
death?
There are so many variables, but again, remember, there are so many variables to it. Once upon a time, we were not eligible to purchase life insurance.
That part.
Some of us could not afford to purchase life insurance. And you have this generational thing that gets passed down that people don't see the importance of it. But there are so many things that people don't see the importance of, but life insurance, it's like, well, you know, my mama never told me I needed it, because, you know, when Nana died, you know, they had to pawn all of these things to bury Nana. And it's like, well, no, you know, you can do it. I read Viola Davis's book, and in her book, Viola Davis actually said, you know, lets the world know how much she's learned from her husband. When they got together, her husband told her, you need to take a life insurance policy out on your parents. That way, and he said, because it's gonna happen.
Right.
That way you have the money to take care of them. And when her father died, she knew what to do because she did listen to her husband and she did take out policies on her parents. And she said, what do I do? He said, well, you just call them and you let them know that your daddy died. You know, you let them know what funeral home you want to use and everything will be done. And it was done.
Well, y'all, we all know what has happened this year with our father and the lack of preparation, you know, even on our end, because I think that we all thought that I don't know why we thought he was
No, I don't,
because he was
like invincible. Like it was just like, oh, he'd be all right.
But he was also prepared. Let's not say that he wasn't prepared, because he was prepared.
Yeah.
It's not like he never tried and didn't have any preparation.
Right,
there was preparation. It's just that
it was not enough.
He needed to let people know that they need to take over the responsibility
of it.
That's where he fell short.
Right.
That's where he fell short.
Yeah.
Look, I know the songs I once sang at my funeral. I'm gonna write my own obituary, so like I'm gonna have it all laid out. So like,
God bless you, Shauna.
When the time comes, y'all just be like, here you go.
I appreciate you.
I'm gonna do my own program.
The only thing I remember years ago, I used to say to Troy, you know what color wig I want to wear at my funeral.
Not the wig. Not the wig.
I'm like, what color? And what color do I want? He's like, a number 4B or 41B or some shit. That's the only thing we had discussed.
Say the wig.
Well, have me looking like
that's my brother.
Have me looking all crazy.
Don't have me out here looking crazy now. I want
Make sure somebody don't do them eyelashes and my eyebrows. Make sure.
Don't you have me looking surprised this whole
everybody to wear something pink is my favorite color. Look, I got it all planned. But I think sometimes we think by speaking about it, we're saying it's coming. And it's just like, no.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying that. Like, no, I don't want it to come now. But it's to prep.
And not to put our business out there, but me and since we got together, we've had policies upon policies. So, you know, sometimes he'd be like, you trying to kill me so you can get that money, right? And when he pissed me off, I'm like, that nigga is worth a good pretty penny.
Let me see what I can. No, but we got to be prepared. Like it's nothing wrong with being prepared and being proactive.
Proactive, yeah.
You know what I'm saying when it comes to our lives, because you be like, well, I don't care. I'm gonna be going anyway. Yeah, but then the people that you meet.
There are some people that really have that attitude.
Yeah.
You know, and I'll be honest with you. If that's your attitude, then you know what? I guess you'll be a part of this field.
I was just about to be like, what is it, Potter's field?
If you don't care, I don't care.
You look mighty fine in a cardboard box. A wooden box.
Because even caskets are outrageous.
Like we were looking at caskets. There was a casket in a showroom for $40,000. A casket.
What?
A casket. I was like, we are in the wrong business.
Listen, how many times I done told y'all I'm trying to get into that funeral business, because that funeral business.
It's a 2-year program.
I don't want to go to school. I want to go to school.
Okay.
I want a partner. I want to partner with somebody that's already in school. And I'll just be
Keisha, she's gonna scout graduations. She's gonna be standing outside of graduation. So you trying to open a business with me? You just got your little certificate. You want to open up a business?
Like, what up? Now, I can honestly say that the funeral home that did our father's services, I'm sure that I know that they get people often that are characters. I don't think they was ready
they were ready for us.
For this type of family homegoing. You know, I don't think they was ready for that.
All I kept saying is, y'all please don't act up because I know this lady.
No, but she said that we were not that bad.
Wait.
She did say.
She said not that bad.
She said we were not. She said we weren't that bad.
No, it just shows you that, I mean, even in death, there's still the ability to find the light, the goodness in it, the light in it, yeah. And you know, I just hope that we as a people, because I remember on Instagram somebody had asked, you know, what do you think it would take for, you know, for them to stop killing us and police to stop killing us? And they were just like, have Black people get life insurance, because once these insurance policy holders, these insurance companies have to keep on paying out for wrongful death, and because you killed somebody.
You are absolutely right. I remember you posted that.
I thought that was a marvelous idea.
That's clever.
Yeah, because you know, life insurance companies don't want to pay out.
Right.
Yes. Insurance is in case of, but they don't want that. They don't want the case to be of.
And that's why if you have a pre-existing condition,
and let's not forget all of the companies that benefited because they actually insured us during the transatlantic slave trade as well. But I didn't want to go there, you know. But these insurance companies been caking off our backs for the longest. Yep. But that's another story for another day. So the moral of this story is what, ladies?
Well, there's more than one moral. That's the problem.
No, that's it. Yeah.
Give them all. Run them down. Run them by me.
Look, try to save your pennies to lay your family to rest. Try to find a life insurance policy that suits your financial, where you are financially. You know, if you're comfortable with hiding the money under your mattress, put the money under your mattress.
Have something.
I mean, do whatever it is you need to do. I'll be honest with you, I'm ready to put my money in the mattress because the way
I know, right? Put it in a shoebox. Go back to them days.
The way I see this world going, and I think of a book that was written. All I'm saying is, y'all not gonna tell me what to do with my money, and my husband ain't controlling anything. But that's a whole nother story. What?
Handmaid's Tale?
Blessed be.
Oh, blessed be the fruit. May the Lord open.
But you know, GoFundMe should only be used if it's a true necessity for having people donate to get to this dollar amount that is really needed. Because it makes people hesitant to donate with all of the scams that's going on out there. And it can be hurtful to people who are truly in need.
True.
My takeaway is try to stay sane through everything that you see in the news, that you're experiencing when you're at the gas station and you're filling up your tank and you're paying almost $100 to fill up your tank. You see the Ukrainian war, how we're giving billions of dollars. You have mass shootings that's, you know, geared towards minorities. Try to stay sane. Tap into your spiritual world, whoever you pray to them, and try to just stay sane so that you don't end up being a product of like how the 18-year-old, you know, he allowed society to brainwash him and push him in that direction. So we can't go down that path.
Agree.
The midterms are coming. Then please go and vote. I'm just saying, the midterms they're about to be here. Then please go and vote. And some, like he said, take care of you. There's therapy, there's yoga, there's meditation and that. And when all else fails, there's still God. So.
Haha.
Amen.
Listen, it ain't easy.
Yeah, one of these moments.
It ain't easy. It ain't easy. It ain't easy. It ain't easy, but it's not impossible. So, everybody said it. Tap into your higher power. Tap into that divine power that lies within all of us, and we gotta rise. We gotta rise above the hate, because it's so easy to succumb to it. You know what I mean? And to see it for what it is and be ready to just like, are you not entertained? You know, and just spaz. But I think that if we stay grounded, if we stay connected and share positive stories and share information with one another, because sometimes we don't know. And, you know, that's why we try to put out content that informs you, you know, just in case you ain't catch the news, or in case you're in a remote village, you know, with no access to Wi-Fi or broadband, you know.
But you can see the show though.
Yeah. I didn't.
You're only getting to see this show.
Yeah, you only get one show.
Oh, you saw me raise my hand like, wait, how? Okay.
Listen, just go with it. Just go with it. But just go with it. Yeah. So, you know, that's why we're here to, you know, give at least some type of information to you guys, so that we can all, you know, at least encourage and uplift one another. Okay, to my co-host, Joe Lovey, Shauna Dawn, and Keisha Keish, I'm Kaya. Every woman, every man, join the caravan. Okay.
I know you editing that part.
I was gonna say